All right. Hello, it's Jared here from Crypto Plan. And I made a little mistake in my last video and I didn't go in depth enough into Argo blockchain. So I'm going to make a video dedicated solely to Argo blockchain for those of us that don't want to invest in the New York Stock Exchange or can't invest in the New York Stock Exchange. And considering I'm in Ireland and maybe people that watch me have a better access to the London Stock Exchange, well, Argo blockchain is your cryptocurrency play in that stock exchange. So what we've got on the screen here is their price chart on TradingView on the 3-day. And you don't need to be super smart to see that the ascending channel that it's creating is fairly solid and it's fairly consistent, right? So we have since the 8th of October, if we do our little price measure, since the 8th of October, and we'll go to close on Friday, 150% gain. So that's a pretty good gain if you had invested anywhere along the line there. Even if you invested halfway along the line there at 740 pence, you're doing pretty well, right? And I just want to take you over to another little chart, which I think looks very similar. And that is called the Bitcoin chart. So the Bitcoin US dollar chart, it's a very solid ascending channel since about the same time. Funny that. So it seems like the people that are investing in Argo blockchain or the London stock market in general is perceiving Argo blockchain as a Bitcoin. You know, it's kind of entering and buying and increasing the price of that stock in a similar manner to Bitcoin, except that I guess the percentage gains are a little bit lower on the Bitcoin because its market cap is a little bit higher, so it's a little bit harder to push it. So 83% there as opposed to 150. So you're looking at nearly 2 times better returns in Argo blockchain. So look at that, you know. So if you want to ride something like Argo blockchain all the way to Bitcoin's next all-time high, you could be looking at 2 times the potential returns of Bitcoin. But I just want to go back to the Argo blockchain chart now and just kind of have a look at something, because the difference is, and well, maybe it's not the huge difference, is that we've got this price bar here, which is at, I guess, the initial float price of Argo blockchain, which was just after the last bull run in Bitcoin. So they have seen a bear market the whole way. So that's kind of my short-term target. And I want to say I am invested in Argo blockchain, but it's probably the smallest of my positions in Bitcoin mining stocks, just because it's actually harder to buy them because it's a over-the-counter stock and the liquidity isn't as good. So sometimes you put in your orders and they don't get filled because no one wants to sell them. So it's actually a lot harder to get in than Riot or Mara. But, you know, for the reason that there is no kind of history there and I don't know where it's going to go and I don't know as much about the company and I don't really feel like the London Stock Exchange has as much volume as the New York Stock Exchange. So it's my smallest position, but I still believe that it can do great things because we are heading into price discovery. Once we hit that 17 pence mark, and mind you, that 17%, and if we drag that out there, that's a 300% gain if you had have got anywhere near the 4 pence mark, right? So I can't even remember what my average price is. I think it's maybe between 5 and 6 pence. So I would be pretty happy there to take some profits, and I believe that I will take some profits at that all-time high and then probably try and just basically watch Bitcoin and follow the price to around this 49 pence mark, because that's the fib retracement. And I'm just going to do that fib retracement because this video won't be as long. This is something I'm just learning, so forgive me if I'm doing it completely wrong. But so we've got from the all-time high there, and we're retracing down to this low. And at the moment, the stock is pushing towards the 702. So that's the 70% range of a retracement of the entire bear market. Now, probably why it's kind of bumped off that a couple of times, because this is a psychological level, or the markets tend to find it hard to break through the 702. So once we get up to this 1330 mark, or anything above that 702, which is 1280 pence, we're kind of going to escape. And I think moving from that 1250, 1270 mark all the way up to 17 pence is going to be a fairly swift move, I imagine, because there's absolutely no resistance. There's just this initial candle over here for selling. So I think we're going to get there this week, maybe next week, but depending on what Bitcoin does. But I think once we break there, it's pretty good. And then price discovery is a very, very, very unknown quantity, as in it just depends on how bullish Bitcoin is, how bullish the market is. If bigger investors go, oh, I see this stock that's running and it's going high, I want to get in heavy and sell out, so it could create a lot of volatility, but it also could print some large candles in the upside, and in general, just keep an eye out, and I think the key is to set your own targets for exit, because if you just ride it to a random unknown forever, it'll go up forever. You will probably suffer that consequence of it'll go up over its all-time high and then it will go back again. So just be having some targets where you kind of pepper away and you go, do you know what, I'm happy to make that much out of my investment, and that's where I'm at. And if it goes higher, so be it. It is what it is. So for me, it's take some profits at 17 pence and then be happy to ride it all the way to Bitcoin's all-time high or 49 pence, whichever one comes first. So let's see how it goes. I just want to run over to some kind of operational updates from the company. So as I say, Argo, leading cryptocurrency miner, LSE ARB is their ticker code. They mined 115 Bitcoin or Bitcoin equivalent, compared to 126 in October. So they've had a reduction. So that, I think I pointed that out in previous videos, that it's not, I guess it is like any mining, you have trouble, you've got to adjust to the method. There's a higher concentration one month and a lower concentration the next month. So for all we know, they've tweaked some things. The next month they're going to get 140. But around and about the 100 mark, give or take 20 or 30, right? And year to date, they've mined 2,369. Now they are making a loss still because they've got to pay for capex and all that expenses, but they have a mining margin of 57%, which is good because, for every Bitcoin they sell, they're making 57%, which is great. And they hold 178 Bitcoin, which is interesting because I like that they hold Bitcoin, because 178 times by 20,000, and that's a bit more than what it's worth today. But so they've got this base kind of treasury of 3.56 million to liquidate at any time. But, we start multiplying that by 2. If it gets to 40,000, there's a 7,000 market cap. If they held that in cash, I don't think it would go up by that much, right? So, that 178 Bitcoins, and if they gradually increase that over time, their treasury, or their base of cash and cash equivalents will increase rapidly with the price of Bitcoin. And what else we got? Extremely exciting month. Value of Bitcoin. Yeah, so they're excited that the Bitcoin's going up in price, and that's the long and the short of it. So that, I think year to date, 2,369 Bitcoin is pretty good. But it does kind of tell me that, and this is what I've heard, that the more miners that come into the market and the more people get miners, the harder the block is to solve. So it's kind of like, one thing, buy more shovels, buy more trucks to dig them out of the ground, buy more explosives, but it makes it harder because maybe, you know, the puzzle gets harder the more the network knows who's looking for it. So we'll see. It'll be good to kind of look at it over a 12-month period and see if they gradually decline or if it's just a random thing where, you know, some months they get more and some months they get less, you know. So, but either way, they are making money. They're probably edging their way towards profitability, but at least they're making a good margin. You know, over 50% on a product you sell is a very good margin, which is really, really good. And that's increased from 40%. So maybe they've reduced their operating expenses, they've reduced their electricity costs and things like that, which is pretty good. So I'm just going to leave it there. We'll go back over to the chart and just kind of looking up there at XRP right now. It's leading the way. A lot of the cryptocurrencies I watch are in the red, but it's leading the way. And this other one that I love is Zilliqa. It's doing the same thing. It's got a nice ascending channel there. Even if you look at it on the daily, it's just got a nice ascending channel. So that seems to be following a similar kind of trend there where it's not taking the corrections as much as the other coins. So yeah, there are a couple more to watch out for and see what they do. And then you've got Hive and you've got MoneyGram. I've talked about all them before, and Square and MicroStrategy just bought another $50 million worth of Bitcoin. So their treasury is looking amazing for a company that probably was fairly flatlining before that. So well done them. And this is another new one, hot off the radar. Moon Lambo kind of put me onto this one. Shout out to Moon Lambo. Is FRMO Corp. They seem to be doing a little bit of mining and a little bit of purchasing of cryptocurrencies, and they're an investment fund or a hedge fund or a financial services company. I haven't had a deep dive into them yet, but they are in the cryptocurrency space, so that's pretty cool. So put them on your watch list if you want to have a look, and you can see they printed a large candle the other day, which is very exciting. Always exciting to see any stock that's doing large candles and retracing and going, well, if you had got back in there, what's it going to do next? So that's pretty cool. So we'll just leave it there. Argo Blockchain is a buy for me. But like I say, I won't be buying. It's still a buy because of that fact of it's going into price discovery. And if there is any dip on Monday, I would buy it if I hadn't been invested in it. But either way, like once again, you know, you put $100 into it or £100 into it at $11 pence, and it goes up to 17 pence, that's still a good profit regardless. You're still beating the market if that happens, right? So the fact that it's following Bitcoin is a very, very exciting thing. I'm just going to get rid of this. All right, that's it for now. Please like and subscribe the video. I wanted to make this one short. It's just gone 13 minutes, but that's okay. Anyway, hooroo, goodbye, see you later, and signing out.